Give me one. Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
Good, good. I love that intro.
Yeah, no, we are getting better.
Yeah.
I promise. Every single episode, we have new things coming on.
Nice, yeah. So,
So, man,
yeah,
the today topic is what if you innovate like an animal? What is that?
yeah. Well, a lot of different reasons is one, I guess the most obvious reason is we think of animals as being tenacious, right? Or ferocious, but ferocious sounds kind of bad. Ferocious in a good way, right? And I think one is a lot of entrepreneurs just naturally, I think one of the things that attracts them to entrepreneurship is the ability or a space to just go wild, right? It's the opposite of a 9 to 5 job. It's the opposite of a cubicle or a cage job.
Yeah,
Or, I used to be a teacher in the classroom, and you could look at a classroom as a cage, right? So a lot
yeah.
of times,
In the free cage world,
exactly, yeah, or like, yeah, we're cage-free chickens, right?
yeah, the game for chickens.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things sometimes, and you've probably encountered this too, meeting different and working with different entrepreneurs all over the world, is sometimes you meet entrepreneurs, you ask them like, what's your business? And they're like, I don't even know. I just know I'm an entrepreneur, right? Or they're partnering, and I'm like this in some ways by partnering with different groups, like in between things or whatever else. It's like, even if there's not something specific you're working on, you'd rather be in that entrepreneurial space or working with other entrepreneurs than the cage, right, of a classroom or a cubicle. So I think that's one side that's pretty interesting about innovating or being an entrepreneur like an animal, is it speaks to, kind of naturally who we are. But then you can also go a lot deeper. And this is kind of where my other life or the nerd in me comes out. With science, right? A lot of what I do with What If and as an educator is making like random connections or seeing And one of the best ways to make random connections, I'm not even the one who first thought of this, but it's something called biomimicry, which is where we look at the natural world and try to mimic or model the way plants and animals adapt or evolve to our own lives. So pardon the pun, but it's kind of low-hanging fruit when you look for innovation as an entrepreneur, as an innovator, is instead of like trying to create something new or trying to study what another business did, you could just like look out your window, right? Or go to the zoo or open up the encyclopedia or get curious about your favorite animal. And as you're learning about something in nature, you can pull elements from it and then apply it to your everyday life as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's kind of important thing. Yeah, today I was over this week. I was studying some documents about the evolution of the businesses in our region in Colombia, in Santander specifically. For example, I was looking the concept. Where can I find the animal-like style of creating businesses? And I remember when I was reading and when I was going through the creation of the roads infrastructure, the highways, how do you connect one town with another town? And pretty much the way we've been creating our highways and all the county roads, it's based on the animals. And why is that? Because you have some species in this area, and you want to move the species, this one to another one, and you have the mules. I'm talking more than 100 years ago. So you had the mules, and one thing that it was actually quite interesting is how do you design the layout or the path of the road through the mountains.
Yeah.
Today you have crazy type of software, and
Yeah.
you have RGs online, and you have drones, and you have super,
LiDAR.
yes,
Yeah.
radar,
Yeah.
satellite. They're super advanced things. But 100 and plus years ago, it was just tracking the mules.
Hmm.
So the people were going behind the mule, and the mule by itself he, was creating the road, and the way after the mule,
Hmm.
we open up and we create bigger roads. Were based on the route that the mule was taking.
Yeah.
So when I was reading, oh my god, this is a great example. Yeah, you have to pay attention. It's not just, yeah, I'm a science guy of, well, I'm an engineer, plus two masters, but you have to pay attention to your surroundings.
Yeah.
If birds are flying in a very I don't know, curious or a strange way, that
Hmm.
means because something is happening.
Hmm.
If your dog is barking like desperate, something is going on.
Hmm.
If your dog for some reason change the eating time,
Hmm.
or doesn't want to eat, something is happening. So,
Yeah.
and the answer to that effect is just paying attention. And when you're paying attention, you get to understand, oh, now I got it. That's why the birds are changing the path. That's why my dog is changing his feed customs. And that's quite important, because sometimes in our businesses, we just don't pay attention. We just
Yeah.
are trying to give orders. Oh, hey, I got this news on the newspaper, and I
Mhm.
read this new book that is a New York Times bestseller, but I'm not paying attention, actually. And that's I think that's one of the most important things that we can get from the animals. It's the
Mhm.
attention, and based on the effects that for paying attention we can get, that's a good way to innovate. That's the point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. And I love the example of the mules too. It's like sometimes a part of innovation or even entrepreneurship is just getting out of the way, right?
Yeah.
Let the experts let the experts do it. No, it's fascinating. There's so many different directions that you can go to get inspiration, insights, guidance as far as an entrepreneur or innovator, just from the animal kingdom or the animal world, I should say. Yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when you get to see the different species,
Mhm.
different tasks, they have different organizations.
Yeah,
When you think about when you think on lions,
yeah.
they have a very very specific way of government. When you
Hmm.
think of bees,
Hmm.
they, my God,
Well,
this is amazing. They are like super engineers. But when you think ants,
and
when
I was
you
gonna say,
think
yeah, yeah,
it's different, totally different organization.
yeah.
That's and I think this is something that we can learn in our companies. It's not just, hey, I like the Lions model, so basically I will take it. But we are an ant
Yeah.
group. No,
Yeah. Well,
and
that's
this
not,
is some,
it's not just the technology we can mimic from biology or from nature. It's the community. It's social.
yeah,
Like it's things like communication. So I'm glad you brought up these examples. It's communities. It's how it's communication. It's collaboration. It's roles and responsibilities. It's limitless what we can learn from the natural world.
yeah. For example, yeah, I know you have a lot of situation every single day, and customers and
Mm.
connections from all over the world. But now, if you think, for example, today,
Mhm.
go to this very specific topic, the logistics around the world, uh, and in every single town, in every single city,
Mhm.
will be. I will use the words of a journalist. it will be put on test, the capacity and the logistics that we have to apply the vaccine for the COVID-19.
Mhm.
How can we use, for example, the animal kingdom in order to create a model to, I don't know, to make an efficient way to
Mhm.
to get the shots for every single person around the world in the next years?
Yeah. That's a great question.
Yeah, I'm sure we don't have the answer, but
Yeah. Well, my mind goes to two different ways, and it's funny because there are some differences. So, one way would be I'll go the positive first, and then the potentially negative, right? The positive way I would think, because again, we can look at it in so many different angles. Is one is kind of what you were talking about with the mules, right? What if, and this is where the what if comes in, right?
Yeah.
What if it wasn't up to humans to distribute the vaccine? What if it were up to mules, right? Or what if it were up to dolphins? Or what if it were up to birds? Or what if, right? And see what is it that we could learn from the way they do logistics, right? Or they think about routes, or they think about processes or systems in a way to deliver it the most efficient way possible. The other one that's potentially negative, it's and you'll get maybe not negative, but like where humans and animals can differ is you might want to look at, I was thinking we might want to look at the way, going back to what you're saying about communities and the social structures of animals, and go a similar scenario, like what if lions were facing a similar situation, or what if bees, or what if a colony of ants got hit with a disease and they needed, they had a solution. There's a fungus that they could use to, whatever, but they could only get it to so many people and all of this. What process would they go through to prioritize? Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe they have a limited number and a limited time. So they go through their community and they prioritize like who they treat first in what order and all of this. And the only reason I bring that up as potentially negative is because my hypothesis is they would immediately, as animals, because you see this in the animal kingdom all the time, they would immediately eliminate everybody like past the age of reproduction, right? Or all you old people, you're dead. All right, you're off the table. Now we're moving on, and there'd be this. And again, we could still learn from this, but I think step one in the animal kingdom, because again, when animals get old, everybody thinks that people don't realize that no animal dies slowly. They either starve to death or they're eaten by a bigger animal, right?
Yeah.
So like this would be treated differently, but there could still be things that we can learn with the way animals, respond to threats. Going back to the ants and the bees, like they do have invaders, not just other animals, but disease or bacteria or fungus will invade the hive or invade the colony or something, and they do have strategies, right? They do. They have typical jobs, but then if something happens, those roles or response, so there's things that I think we could learn about roles, responsibilities, how we, again, as an innovator, maybe it's too late to think about COVID-19. We should be thinking about COVID-20, or, what's the next pandemic, or what's the next, and how can we, respond like a colony of ants, or how can we prevent invaders like, a beehive? Yeah, something like that might be interesting.
Yeah, and for example, yes, just keeping in mind the concept that we are using is the what if.
Yeah.
Now you are facing this situation. For example, you are the Secretary of Health of a state, any state around the world, or you are the Secretary of Health of a small town.
Mm-hmm.
How do you use the concept of a what if? I will say, if you are thinking in the animal kingdom, you say, hey, what if we use the logistics models, actually the logistic model that bees use in order to create an efficient pollination?
Well, I was just going to say, because the bees, they go from flower to nectar. There is a process, and just swap out vaccine for,
how many bees do you need to pollinize 200,000 flowers?
Yep.
Now, how many bees do you need to create an efficient model for a specific crop? And then you take this concept and apply to your city, to your town. maybe you don't want to use the bees. Okay, but I would like to use. I rather like to use ants. Okay,
Yeah.
same thing. What if we act and we create and we change all of our public institutions? I will say police, fire department, healthcare, and we use the same model that the ants are using for their colonies.
Mm-hmm.
What might be happening? The next question will be, hey, what if we are able to get the vaccines to every single person in 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
Because now, it's the negative way. Oh my God, it will take like 2 years, 3 years. But let's change the way of thinking and say, hey, but what if we can find a specific model in the nature that allow us to get the shots to every single person in our region in less than 6 months?
Yep.
Oh my God! Now you're getting the answers.
Yep.
Yeah, if you are the expert in this area, the most likely scenario, this you will get the answers. That's how to use this model. That's how you use this way of thinking.
Yeah. And it's easier to get buy-in because even if it's the first time doing it, people have a familiarity with ants or bees. You can point to them and at least say there's some framework or there's some grounding and possibly, I mean, oh, it makes sense. Oh, if we follow this, it's not like you're just saying something like magic, right? It's
it's not magic.
Yeah, like I got the solution. Like there's no reason you're giving them by connecting it to nature. You're giving skeptical people or doubters more reason to give you buy-in, to believe.
Yeah, and the very good thing in when you are using the what if model is just what you said. Yeah, I'm not an expert in bees. Mm-hmm. What do I need? Oh my God, I need an expert in bees. Yes, and now you have to take your phone and call somebody. Hey, I need an expert in bees. I need a bees expert. I need an ant expert. And without giving yourselves enough time to realize, now you're working with an entomologist.
Yep.
And you're, what? I'm working now with an entomologist just because I asked the right question.
And that's the secret, asking the right questions, right? Yep.
Asking the right question. Now I'm working with an entomologist in order to find and create the right logistics model to get the vaccines. And I think that's the beauty behind the what if word, the what if concept is because you do not have the boundaries. In traditional management, you are putting boundaries. Oh my God, this is my C level, C1, C2, C3, C3. Yes, this is below your paycheck. That's the expression. But when we are thinking and integrating concepts, now we find ourselves, oh my God, now I need a history, a person expert in the history. Now I need a person expert in, I don't know, building houses, a constructor. But thinking the other way, I'll say the traditional way. Hey, let's build the team to design the logistics model.
It's backward.
Yeah, that's not the way of thinking in creating an efficient way, because you are biased. If I'm an engineer, so I will get another maybe 2 or 3 engineers. But if I ask the right question, I will find myself maybe working with psychologists, psychiatrists, entomologists, biologists. I don't know. That's the concept, Matt. Yeah. And what else we can, maybe another example that you can think of.
Well, just listening to what you're just saying there, and this just popped into my head too.
Yeah.
You're saying you're now forming a team of, a biologist, an engineer, an entomologist, a historian, let's call them different species, different species. Yeah. Well, it now would be interesting to see in what ways, the natural world deals with collaboration across species. And you probably heard of like symbiosis before, right? There's a lot of examples where instead of the opposite of being a parasite, you can have a symbiotic relationship. And or there's things where certain birds will warn other animals when predators are near, or certain fish will eat the algae or like the other stuff off of other fish or sea creatures. And it might be interesting to explore symbiotic relationships in nature, and then see how you can use that to your team, right? How can you reach out beyond your species of what you're building or doing, and find other species of innovative minds or entrepreneurs to collaborate on different things.
Yeah, I think that's one of the beauties in thinking in nature. I would say nature is very open.
Yeah.
It acts really fast. For some reason, is the organization is very close to perfect.
Yeah.
Because now you have the concept of evolution, and the evolution means that some species are adapting. They are adapting just not to the ecosystem where they are, but they are adapting as well to the moment that they are living.
Exactly.
It's like dogs, for example. If you're living in Canada, the hair of the dogs change over time. In winter, in summer, it changed. And it's not the ecosystem; it's the time that they are living. Even people, I have friends. I met with this guy from Alaska, and the skin changed.
Sure.
Depending on the time of the year. And I think it's the way you adapt to the media, but how do you get involved, and how do you invite other species as well to your own ecosystem in order to survive? And that, I think that's one thing that is very, very nice, that we can learn from animals, not just how do they work, but how they organize the community. And that's something of course.
Well, we're always how to organize a community as entrepreneurs or engage a community, right? So that's a good point. Yeah, how do they?
That will be another question. For example, what if we use in order to organize our entrepreneurial ecosystem in our city the way, I don't know, Panthers? Just ask the question, and then you have the guy with an expertise in Panthers.
And that you nailed it there too. It's like, just ask the question. You don't. The goal is asking the right question, not finding the right answer, right? That can trick people, because you go, all right, let's organize our community like Panthers. Nobody's expecting you to actually do it. I mean, you can, but the goal is that on your way there, you're going to uncover other things that you actually can do, right? And you make a ridiculous end goal, because the less ridiculous things you'll discover along the way, right? And it happens all the time. It's weird if you've never done it, right? Or if people I understand the hesitation, but I think once people get in the habit of doing it, there's greater discoveries to be made.
That's kind of a game changing, no? For some people it would be really hard, but when you are used to, and when I would say you are not scared. Of course, at the beginning you will be scared. I think people will be scared of, oh my God, people will laugh of me because I'm doing like a crazy question. Yeah, at the beginning, maybe maybe it happens, but then when you realize that your brain works harder and faster, now you think comfortable with the model. I think we can work from there. And today we are just talking about the animals.
We can look at plants, we can look at weather, we can look at all kinds of stuff in nature. Sure. So
that's the thing. So Matt, I will share our emails here. Let me put it here. I think it's on the screen.
Nice.
But let me do it the other way. Scroll, save, and show. Now even better. Now,
Right.
here's our email. This is Matt email and Nestor email. So if you want to make questions, or maybe you guys just want to connect, feel
Yeah.
free to shoot us an email. We are more than happy to get the emails from you guys. We can go and we can move beyond our presentation, our just it's a weekly episode. We can connect. Even if you have some ideas, if you have some concepts that you want we discuss here,
To explore, or that'd be great.
just feel free to shoot us an email. That's great. You know, Matt, tomorrow we'll have an interesting meeting here in the city, because specifically they will discussing the logistics for the vaccines.
Really?
Yes, but I will use it. I will say, hey, let me just think with this question. What if it? And I let you know, of course.
There's further work to be done. Like, I'm happy. Yeah, this is definitely. And what it gets exciting is it only takes one, because if a city like Bucaramanga can model a vaccine delivery plan, by after bees or ants, any city in the world can have that model or learn from it at least. Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, yeah, and you have to make, and sometimes you have to just make the question. For example, according to Pfizer, we need to use these super freezers, because the temperature for the vaccine, it has to be stored like a minus 60 something Celsius.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But like scientific word. What if we use the same model that penguins use for storing their food? What if we use the same model that polar bears use to store the food?
Yep.
Maybe, I don't know, I'm not the expert. Maybe we can find answers, or maybe we can find a way of thinking in order to change the traditional way of thinking. Now the traditional way of thinking of government is, oh my God, now I need to buy 50 super freezers.
Yep.
I think that's the wrong way to go. Okay, oh my God.
Nice.
We have a beautiful person, and I think that you remember. She's on Facebook, and let me show the question.
Hey. All right, yeah.
You remember Michelle?
yeah, this is great. And I love the question too. They'll bring her pets, and there's so much. Yeah, pets pets are wonderful at work. Yeah, I love this. Yeah.
Okay. This is the kind of question that we need to ask.
Great to hear.
With efficiency of response, the democracy of Taiwan implemented. We have planned the viral attack to protect their citizens. Yeah. This is the type of question if we are thinking this way. And thank you, Michelle. So nice to see you, and so nice to have you here with us today. We are changing not just our community, but of course we are having an easy life, and that's how it's worked. We have Lorena as well. Hello, great provocative talk. Hey, hi, Lorena. And Matt, that I will be this will be our episode today. Of course, we are more than happy to share with you guys once a week, 30 minutes, no more than that, 35 minutes. Of course, they will be on our YouTube and Facebook channels for the What If community. Feel free to shoot us an email. This is us. And just see you guys next week. And I promise you guys that we'll be putting on a schedule calendar for the next topics. Maybe we can have more extended versions. We don't know yet. We are just getting started. Thank you to you guys, and Matt. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, Nesta. This is great. Always fun chatting. So.
Yeah, a lot of value every time that I'm talking with you. Oh my God. Yeah, yeah. I was talking with a friend of mine, and I say, oh my God, if I were just tape and record every single time that I talk with Matt, I will have enough material to write down like 2 books.
It's awesome there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Then let's talk more often because I want to read your books. So
Yeah.
I'll read anything
so,
you write.
so thank you, Matt. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. This is a beautiful time of the week just to getting with you together
yeah,
and broadcasting our ideas, just putting it out.
yeah. No, this is fantastic. Stay curious, everyone. Yeah, have a great
Yeah,
week.
stay curious. Yeah, stay curious. Have a nice weekend, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.